Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So today is this big topic of 4 levels of speech in Tantra, which is taken from Bhartrihari. Bhartrihari speaks about 3 levels and about Pashyanti, Madhyama and Vaikhari. So Pashyanti is that intention which shines through, or that kind of aha moment which we want to express in our action or speech or self-expression. And here we look at the word as the power of self-expression rather than just the word. You know? It's not just speaking, it's more expressing oneself in one action or communication or need of some kind of interaction, communicating to others one's need. And in that sense, of course, it's much more than just a word. Yeah? It's the very activity of consciousness which is causing us to do something, to move somewhere, to express oneself in one way or another, in action, in gesture, in word, in speech, and so on. So this is the word. The word is the power of self-expression. Comprehensive self-expression. That means meaningful to me. And in that sense, Pashyanti would be enough, because Pashyanti is that aha moment or that flash of intuition, that pratibha, if you will, that which is causing me to reflect upon what is to be done and need to move, so to say. It's that which is making me do. As Kanna would ask already from Upanishad's time, from Jaiminiya Upanishad Brahmana, we have this statement, Kene shitam patati preshitam manah, kena pranav prathamav praiti yuktaha, kene shitam vacham imam vadanti. By what compelled people speak this word? Who is making people to say it? Yeah? And that is the Pashyanti Vak. And what is happening here is quite interesting, because in 4 levels of speech, in Tantra they add one more level, the highest level, and they call it Parava, transcendental speech. So from the transcendental realm, the Pashyanti is flashing like the lightning towards us, onto our consciousness, and makes us do something or move. So the oldest mentioning of these 4 levels of speech are mentioned in this puzzle hymn by Dirghatama Uchatya, Chatvari Vak Parimita Padani Tani Viduh Brahmana Ye Manishinah Guhatrini Nihita Nengayanti Turiyam Vacho Manushya Vadanti. The word has been measured in 4 quarters. Those quarters are known to the knowers of the word, Brahmanas. Brahmana is actually the one who speaks the word. Brahman is the word, first of all. Who possess also the power of the mind, Manishina. So the word and the mind go together. In the hidden place, the 3 are established, which do not move and these are Para, Pashyanti, and Madhyama Vak. We will come to them. And the fourth one, man speak, and that is the Vaikhari. So here they are, Paravak, Pashyanti Vak, Madhyama Vak, and Vaikhari. So the three are hidden behind. We do not know about these three. We perceive only the action of consciousness. There is a beautiful passage in Sri Aurobindo's writing on the Upanishads, which he defines in his own way the action of these four levels. Let us suppose a conscious use of vibrations of sound which will produce corresponding forms or changes of form. Let us realize then that a vibration of sound on the material plane, that Vaikhari Vak, presupposes a corresponding vibration on the vital, without which it could not come into play. Yeah? Siegfried is joining us. That is quite obvious. How else this physical sound which I'm now talking could be determined or caused or made possible if there would be no vital need for me to say it, to express it. If there would be no vital urge to say anything, I would not say anything. But that vital urge, that energy within me, determines this last action which you receive, but you are not actually listening to my outer expression, you are listening to my vital urge, and you are listening to my mental dogma or formation, and even deeper, and we will come to it. That again presupposes corresponding originative vibration on the mental. The mental presupposes a corresponding originative vibration on the supramental, at the very root of things. But a mental vibration implies thought and perception, and the supramental vibration implies a supreme vision and discernment. All vibrations of sound on that higher plane is then instinct with and expressive of the supreme discernment of a truth in things, and is at the same time creative, instinct with a supreme power, which casts into forms the truth discerned and eventually, descending from plane to plane, reproduces it in the physical form or object created in matter by etheric sound. Thus, we see that the theory of creation by the word, which is the absolute expression of the truth, and the theory of material creation by sound vibration is in ether, correspond and are two logical poles of the same idea. They both belong to the same ancient Vedic system. So you could see that we are kind of victims of the same movement of consciousness expressing itself through us. Yeah? We are not independent beings expressing our own. What we consider our own is just that particular flash or lightning which we received, and we subjectively think that it is my own. Yes, it is my own because me as a self is that divine self actually. So it is my expression in a way. So there is no contradiction here. But you can clearly see these four levels. Yes, this is the whole presentation is about these four levels of Tantra: Vak, Paravak, Pashyanti, Madhyama, and Vaikhari. We spoke about this already in the first part, in the first half, quite a bit. I was showing you the scheme. You remember the scheme? This beautiful, this picture, yeah? So here you can see them clearly that Paravak is the highest, where the Artha and Shabda are one, where the sound and the meaning of the sound is one and the same. The form and the sound are the same. There is no difference between power and consciousness. Consciousness power, Chit Shakti, is one and the same. So what we know, that is. There is no difference between what we know and what is. It's one and the same on the level of the transcendental para. But then this power and knowledge start separating, going down and down and down. There is a difference between what we know and what is. There is a delay. There is a new perception of that what we already know. That is, in a manner, delayed manner, with a gap, as if we perceive it anew. We rediscover it anew. And there is this kind of, as Sri Aurobindo beautifully describes in Sanjnana, there is a withdrawal of the pole of knowledge from the action of power to perceive it anew and to know it by feeling, so to say. And that kind of reversal of consciousness creates the whole world. Otherwise, there would be no world if that reversal would not take place, if that gap would not be introduced. And this gap here in between is time and space gap. There, the space comes into being. That's why I'm here, finished here in the body, and you are there somewhere far away in space, and we are not the same being anymore, as it were. I perceive you as different being, you perceive me as different being, you listen to my words as different words from yours, but they are not, actually. They are also yours, only they are reflected in me as a separate being. So the object and the words are two different realities on the physical plane. On the plane of Madhyama, they are being formulated as two different. There is the linguistic space, and there is the space where the vitality of the objects is taking place, their lifespan, life force. And on the level of Pashyanti, there are two differences between them, form sounds and form images, and there is a oneness in them. There is some kind of unity between the concepts of the words and the concepts of the objects. Conceptual vision of the words and objects are somehow the same. Here is the oneness. But there is also a difference already introduced on the mental plane, and that is the basic fundamental differentiation of the mental plane, which is creating the worlds. And on the transcendental, they are one and the same. There is no slightest difference. And as Sri Aurobindo describes, the supramental perception, it is immediate. The knowledge is immediate with power. If I say there, I was always joking in this way, ice cream, the ice cream will appear immediately. There is no difference between the word, the knowledge, and the power, embodiment. One and the same.
Vladimir, in the middle, in the mental level, in the middle between the blue and the red line, it is crossing the blue lines and the red lines. It means there is unity there. What is the relationship between this unity and the two sides, the blue side and the red side of the...
Yeah, we can of course speculate here, because there is a unity, constant unity. This circle shows all possible relations between the two. So first there is a total unity in one spot, total kind of a corresponding diversity, diversifying, and total difference. Yeah, nothing in common. Totally common, nothing in common, and each one has its own reality. So you have all four possible, that's why the circle is here, to show all possible relations. There are no more than these four.
And if you are out of the circle, what does it mean?
Yeah, it depends where you are out. If you are down.
No, I mean in the mental and let's say Madhyama. Yeah.
Yeah. So on the mental level, there are three realities. Yes, this is the mental level. Yeah. So on this mental level, we have the oneness, the conceptual oneness of the objects and the words. Yeah. Okay. They're one and the same in the meaning. In the meaning, the book and the word book are conceptually one and the same. Yeah. So if I show you the book and will tell the book, then you would have the same idea. So they are one. But they are different in the formations. This form is made from different material, and the word is made from different material. They have different materials, as it were. So they have their own locations. So one is linguistic location, and the other is the energy or the formation of the concept which is coming into this, forming the pages, the ink, the words, and so on and so forth. So it is all also conceptual there in my linguistic space, but it has another formulation here in the form of the life force of the life formation of the book. Yeah, to build this book physically as an object, I require different forms, form images, and here form sounds. Yeah? So sounds and images kind of split here. So nama and rupa, form, seeing and hearing, they split.
Okay, thank you.
It's an amazing thing, comprehensive understanding of what is book, and really building the book in the image of splitting on the mental level, on the Pashianti level.
Madhyama is middle way, no?
Yeah, Madhyama is the middle. It is the formulation of the text or context or syntax. It's language level. So it needs this kind of idea. It needs embodiment, and this embodiment will take place in the language, in the system of signs, in the system of meaningful kind of symbolic representatives, words, which would express it, what it needs. So it can take any language and express it through the language. So this is Madhyama.
Madhyama, but is used for a school of Buddhism, Madhyamika, from Nagarjuna.
Oh, this is different, yes. This is
different meaning.
Yeah, well, yes, it's a Sanskrit word which middle path, or Madhyama here in the middle. Yes, it's a mediator. Mediator between what? Between the intention of Pashyanti and the embodiment expression of the word. So the mediator is the language, that very thing, that grammar, which takes the intention, puts it into language and expresses it outside. Yeah? Without grammar, without knowledge of language, we cannot do it.
Is the intermediation between mental and
physical.
Yeah. It's not yet. It's not here Purusha and Prakriti. Not at all.
No, we don't speak about Purusha and Prakriti here. Okay. Well, it's all Prakriti, it's all Purusha, because Purusha is on all levels and Prakriti is on all levels.
Okay. Okay.
This is Para Prakriti and this is Apara Prakriti. Okay. Okay. So I just gave you this overview. So in Bhartrihari, which I was mentioning before, only Pashyanti, Madhyama and Vaikhari are mentioned. Para is not mentioned. This Paravak would be dealt with in Tantra. Now we are coming to this tantric view. Abhinavagupta describes the Paravak, the transcendental word, beyond creation, where the meaning and sound are one, the very essence of the supreme reality, ever present and pervading all. It is thus identical with pure consciousness, Chit, which is the ultimate reality. It is conceived of as a luminous vibration, spurata. Spurata means vibration within itself, as it were, of pure consciousness itself, carrying within itself the whole cosmic manifestation, which is shining within it without any differentiation. Yeah?
It's a little bit dense. I think you have to summarize a little bit or resume, please.
Right. So they carry the consciousness and power are one and the same. Yeah? So that vibration in knowledge and vibration in power are totally matched. Yeah. 1 second, there's somebody. All right. Sorry for this. That was Guitar Center. I ordered guitar and it is not coming. So if you look at this again and this definition, so the overlapping of the consciousness vibration spurata with the power vibration, as Sri Aurobindo describes the vibration in power, the vibration in knowledge, they are split. They are not split here. They are one and the same, carrying within itself the whole universe, all the potentialities of form and meaning of the form. Yeah, of the sense and the object of sense are still inbuilt and not yet differentiated. This differentiation between these two is the act of creation. This act of creation did not yet take place. Is it clear? Yeah?
It's like the syllable Om. Can we say this? Om?
Yeah, what do you want to say by that? I just don't get Om with this differentiation of the power and knowledge.
Yeah, is the Om is the what I understand about Om is the cosmic sound.
Yeah.
And there is no differentiation. And then Paravak, Om is a Paravak. I think Om is in the group of Paravak.
Well, Om is already pronounced, yes, as something.
Paravak is a sound or is a concept? Because Om is a sound, is a vibration. But Paravak, what is? Is a vibration or is a concept?
Paravak is the consciousness carrying within itself the whole world. It's not yet differentiated in neither into Om or into any other vibration or any other syllable or any other word. And yeah, the Om here is only a symbol of that holding the universe together. It's a symbolic sound word already manifested as Vaikharivak. But on the highest level, each word is actually belonging to Paravak. Yeah? So Om is only symbolic representative of Paravak, as any other word is also from that level. There is no other word here which is not coming from Paravak. Yeah? They are all from there. I just don't understand this way of talking, and that's for me kind of my mind is stopping to work. If you would explain more, I would maybe understand what you want to say about the Paravak.
Yeah, and now what I understand right now is Paravak is the base of the consciousness.
Yes, it is
Like
consciousness.
Chitakasha, no?
Yeah.
Paravak is a Chitakasha, no?
It's Chit, yes. Akasha is already space, yes, shining. Okay, in tantric sense, Akasha is shining of Chit, yes. Shining of Chit intrinsic with tapas or Shakti. So Shakti and Chit are not differentiated. Vibration of knowledge and power are in unison, one and the same, yes? There is no yet perception of the object of sense. There is no sense and object of sense. They are one and the same yet.
And then in Paravak, there is vibration or not yet?
Yes, it is. Paravak is the vibration. That's what he says here. The luminous vibration, spurata, of pure consciousness itself, carrying within itself the whole cosmic manifestation. It is vibrating within itself, yeah? That vibration is intrinsic with the vibration of power. So the power and knowledge are in the same vibration.
But that vibration is not modulated yet. It's
No.
constant vibration. It's a constant vibration.
Yeah. Well, constant is the word of time. Yes. Yeah. Well, since we operate by time, right?
If we are talking about vibration, we need time.
Yes, well, this is the contradiction, here in the mind operation of vibration. So this vibration is beyond time and space. Yeah, it's a constant vibration within itself, holding within itself the future potential manifestation, which creates the basis. By the way, according to Tantra, Paravak is present throughout all the Pashyanti, Madhyama, and even Vaikhari, and that's how it makes them coherent. If that would not be there, if that unity of the object of sense and sense, or the power and knowledge would not be there implied, yeah, all other operations would not be possible at all.
If I use a metaphor, Paravak is the silence in the music.
All right, good. Yeah, very good. The silence is fully charged with all the sounds in the extent that they are so well harmonized that you don't hear any one of them, because the fullness of sound is so complete that it becomes silent. It's like white color. When all the colors are mixed, you get white. White has all the colors within potentially. So the same Paravak. But it is vibrating, it lives, it's not dead, it's not empty something, absence. It's not absence, it's a full presence.
Yeah, it has to be infinite, then there is no time, because there is not ending. Not ending.
Yeah.
No time.
Look at this as how beautiful, eternally present. Ever active, ever. It's not something inactive.
Okay.
Vladimir, it means that when we speak, it's always there.
Yes.
But we are not necessarily conscious.
It is the very consciousness of us being conscious of anything meaningfully related, because Paravak is there, the oneness. Yeah? This oneness we are constantly using to figure out any difference here.
Okay, so it's always there when we speak.
Always, yeah, cannot be removed or cannot be kind of neglected, because then you become unconscious. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it makes sense, no? Otherwise, how this, without this ever-present origin of Gebser speaks about ever-present origin of archaic structure, where the oneness of the perception and the perceived, yes, of signified and signifier, the oneness of the sense and the object of sense is established, and that oneness is seen through all the other structures of consciousness. So and must be there. It is implied, without which no operation is possible. If the oneness is not presumed, then why I'm doing anything? Yeah? Why should I at all think about something or do something, correspond something with something in some fashion, meaningful, comprehensive? So what is this comprehension about then? Yeah? So why at all anything then? So without paravak, no other activity of speech is possible. So we look at vak now as a consciousness power, chit shakti. Now he gives other interesting definitions, differentiations. Paravak is indeed present everywhere. In terms of pashyanti, Madhyama and Vaikhari, these are the formations how it is being present. For without her, darkness and unconsciousness would prevail in them. This is such a good... So if Paravak would not be present in all of these activities of speech or self-expression, the darkness will gobble up everything. Everything would become unconscious. This is what we were trying to say. Everything, stones, trees, birds, human beings, gods, demons, and so on, is but the venerable supreme word present in and consisting of everything in the form of, that is identical with, the Supreme Lord. It is his power of the Supreme Lord which makes him present in everything. Parava consists of prakasha and vimarsha. This is the definitions of Tantra. Or pratyavamarsha. Vimarsha is a better term. Prakasha is pure light of consciousness. Vimarsha is the pure power of consciousness. The word carrying within itself the whole world in its potential state. It is chit tapas, chit shakti of the Vedantic vision. So we have these prakasha, the light of consciousness, and vimarsha, the spurata of the power, and they are still one and the same, undifferentiated. And then we come to differentiation. Pashyanti, Madhyama, and Vaikhari. Semiotics, there is the whole kind of study, the discipline studying the meanings. Semiotics studies the levels of meaning and has three main branches: semantics, syntactics, and pragmatics. So they are beautifully fitting into Pashyanti, Madhyama, and Vaikhari. There are also three major functions of language, and they are also beautifully fitting into these three: creative, cognitive, and communicative. Creative is that which is bringing into the context something new, fresh. The word is always fresh and new and powerful because it's charged with consciousness and power. Then it has to be cognized through language, and then it has to be communicated by Hari. The three levels in semiotics resemble the three levels of Parava. In Tantra, pragmatics is dealing with communication and is basically expressed by Vaikhari as the power of action. Kriya is the activity reaching to a wider context. And this Kriya is assigned to Vaikhari by Tantra. Syntax, language, is dealing with the text as such and is expressed by Madhyama as structural relations of linguistic categories, morphology and syntax, reflecting the cognitive aspect of language in terms of knowledge, jnana. So our knowledge is within the text. Once the text is coherent, we get knowledge. Knowledge is always contextual, syntactic, structural, mental, our knowledge. Interesting. And semantics, the very meaning of the intention of speech, is expressed by Pashyanti as the power of will or intention, ichha, the desire or will, reflecting the creative aspect of language. Subjective will, which wants to manifest, which wants to change the context, to bring the disturbance into the equilibrium, and that disturbance creates a new possibilities, new context. Yeah,
I think this is what is overwhelming the engineers of the artificial intelligence, the semantics.
yeah, absolutely.
Overwhelming their capabilities. They can
Right.
achieve this. Because there is not only to produce creative products, it needs someone who choose.
Absolutely. And they are choosing for the machine. Machine can do syntax, can do pragmatics, it can do all that, Madhyama and Vaikhari, but Pashyanti,
not possible.
no possible. So machine cannot cannot receive the impulse of the consciousness. That's the problem. It can receive the impulse of consciousness from human beings. Yeah, they can put into it a particular function that you will do this. Yeah? And in case this, you do this. This is the Pashyanti of the human beings. It is already fixed. It is not fresh. It's not new. It's not on the spot. And that's the whole. All films on artificial intelligence are about that machine suddenly receives an impulse which is not inbuilt into this structure. Yeah? And then it starts deciding something which was not expected. And so machine opens up to the Pashyanti, which is hardly possible. You know? It has to be a living being in a way.
It's the singularity principle.
Right. That singularity, oneness of the form and the meaning of form. So this oneness, that paravak, is to be present there in full degree, not in the partial degree, because then darkness will prevail. That's what he says. If it is not present, then it's a machine.
Yeah. They have to do the steps like the evolution. First, they have to create ego, the ego sense. And then after that, we'll see what's happened. Maybe the machines kill themselves.
Right, ego sense, yeah. There can be mechanical ego, like supporting that mechanism which is inbuilt in it, yes. Many people are like machines. They do not have impulse of Pashyanti. They're brainwashed by propaganda, by, this is what is happening to people. They are very weak. They receive Pashyanti from the impulses of propaganda or misinformation, or partial information, manipulation with information. That's the biggest power of consciousness. Now we see it, yes, from this. So it's greater than wars, greater than machines, greater than anything. So just you have to possess the idea. And people following this idea, not knowing why anymore, they feel that this is their power. So then you can bring any power into them. As Lenin was saying, the idea which possesses masses becomes the power. So the idea possessing masses. That's what they did. They made us mechanical robots and put into us their ideas. So now we are following them like a meat for the war in Ukraine, for example. All these soldiers who are coming to fight fascism, they are fascists. They come to fight fascism, which they don't find, but they will still fight. This is you can do anything with this.
You can see in Netflix, for example, how they are programming the minds of the watchers. The people are watching day by day, hour and hour and hour and hour of this kind of series and infinite series, they catch the mind of the people, and then they can program in the mind of the people.
Yeah, you can see it. Yes, you can see
Incredible.
it very clearly. Yeah, absolutely, I agree with you. And many times I kind of see how limited their scope is. Yeah, how little they offer really is in that setting. Yeah? They want to restrict our way of thinking by the limited ideas of what is good, what is right, yeah, all this vengeance, fighting for the justice. There are certain things which are true and going far beyond that, but many are very limited, like family. For my family, I do everything. I will kill the whole world for my family. Yeah? What is this? Where this kind of limitation is coming? Yeah? My family against some other family. So these are the limitations which we are dealing with every day on Netflix and other media. They're talking to us as if they appeal to the common sense. But there are also dishonest ways of doing it, and there are kind of ignorant ways. Yeah? So dishonest is propaganda, when people are lying, constantly lying, mixing truth and lie in such a way that they will achieve what they want. And lies are so intense and so fast that you cannot rectify the previous lie, because there are 20 new lies which you don't have time to rectify them. So you are overloaded, overflooded with lies. So you cannot survive. Yeah, this is the thing we are living in today. There is no time to really cleanse, to clean, and to become normal again. So unfortunately for all of us.
Yeah, what Dr. Basu say is we have to be friend with time.
Yeah, not to compete with time. Yes, yeah. That is what his postulate is. Yeah, agree totally. Now let us look into Pashyanti Vak. Pashyanti hi kriya tasya bhagau purva parau sthitao. The seeing word is indeed the active part of Paravak, which has two parts. The first, its inner part, and the next, its outer part of manifestation. This should be seen. Thus, the Vimarsha, that power component in the Paravak, reveals itself from its origin in the form of Pashyanti Vak. So this Vimarsha, this activity, this will, or this power, separates itself from the light of consciousness and starts acting. And this action of it is what makes Pashyanti Vak possible. So the Vimarsha part of Paravak becomes an active part of Pashyanti Vak. It activates it on the next level of manifestation. It is conceived as the first moment as the first moment of wanting to know separately. It is on a non-dualistic nature yet, where the division on subject and object is not yet been made. It's kind of both, as it were. In this first moment of cognition, there is no separation yet. There is no distinction between the signified and signifier, or the sense and the object of sense, or the word and the meaning of the word, or name and form. They are not yet separated. They are already there. The distinction is already put. If you look at our table here, this is the Pashyanti Vak level. There's still one here, yeah, in this part, in the middle part, but there are already two there. They have no yet possibility to be different totally. Yeah? It's very interesting. So Pashyanti Vak can be described as a transition from the undifferentiated state to the stage of differentiation. The supreme, non-supreme state of the word, para, para and apara, para higher, apara lower, which connects pure subjectivity with objectivity, ahanta and idanta, I-ness and thisness. Subjectivity, I-ness, objectivity, thisness. These two coexist in her with predominance of the subjective aspect of I-ness, ahanta, which already on the level of Madhyama, on the level of speech or language, formulation in language, on Madhyama level will change and both will be equalized, as it were. Both will become important. If on the Pashyanti level I-ness is dominating, then on the level of Madhyama, I-ness and thisness are equalized. What is the cause of Pashyanti? How is it set into motion? The explanation given by Abhinava Gupta is this rishi of Kashmiri and Shaivism, is quite interesting. Whatever is thus aspired or wished for is indeed awakened by the necessity of a certain action, and it is by only following that awareness that Pashyanti gets the perception of it and is set into motion. So there is some kind of necessity of a certain action. There is some kind of aspiration in us for certain change, a kind of a need or a necessity in action awakened by the necessity of certain action within the context, a change, how it is driven, who is driving that necessity. I think it is that Agni which is burning constantly within nature and aspiring for the higher realization. There is a constant driving force forward, and that forward calls to the Pashyanti, to the perception of this interaction. It's like call and answer. There's a constant call and the answer. And these two constantly going, ongoing, building the world. But this is my interpretation. It is interesting to mention here how the hierarchy of Pashyanti Vak is being defined. According to Abhinavagupta, there is always greater will, Mahapashyanti. We spoke about this before, and smaller Pashyanti. Mahapashyanti is a huge Pashyanti, huge intention, and smaller Pashyanti is smaller intentions. For instance, he says, I go to the village, says Abhinavagupta, and it is my main will, Mahapashyanti. But I am leaving my house is a smaller Pashyanti. For me to go to the village, I have to leave my house. I have to lock the lock. I have to switch off the light, to feed the cows, to buy the ticket, to put this and that. And before I go to the village, I have to do many, many things. And these are smaller Pashyantis. Similarly, he says, one should see the plane of Sadashiva as a great Mahapashyanti. Sadashiva is the Lord, yeah, that Paravak. So, in comparison to which all other wills of individuals being subjects to Maya, smaller Pashyantis. Moreover, all the greater Mahapashyantis can finally be seen as those included into the supreme para, Mahapashyanti, which is Paravak herself. So basically we have a big flood which goes into smaller and smaller and smaller streams of smaller Pashyantis, yes? And in this moment of time, I have only this intention, but I don't see that this intention is a part of a bigger intention. I don't see it now because I'm divided by time. Yeah? If I have a deeper look, I will see, oh, this, why did I say what I say? Because there is this. And why that is there? Because that is there. So this presumption is going deeper and higher until we reach to the very supreme, from which all the intentions come down. Makes sense, no? These smaller streams, capillars, we are all divided. We do not know what we are doing because we are divided by time and space. We do not see the greater intentions behind it. Yeah? As I was saying, I'm going to the village also for something. I'm going to the village to buy rice. Why do I need to buy rice? Because what? Because I have to maintain this body. Because why do I have to maintain this body? Because there's something waiting for me day after tomorrow which I have no idea about today. Yeah? But this feeding body today is for day after tomorrow will be clarified. Why was that done? Because there is a great intention which is standing behind this smaller intention. And then we come to Madhyama. I'm coming to the end of the presentation. It's good that I will cover all the levels. Madhyama literally means mediating between the undifferentiated and differentiated levels of the word, the level of formulating it in language. It is still a projection of Paravak together with Pashyanti only on the level the language finally appears as division on phonemes, words, sentences, texts. If on the level of Pashyanti it was still involved, enclosed, as it were, samvartita, or kind of intrinsic, then on the level of Madhyama, it is unfolded into the mental distinct categories of language, grammar. It is on this level only that the distinction between Vachya and Vachaka, signified and signifier, takes place. The text and the meaning of the text. Now, when these two are combined as the sound, being a substance of language, the expressive and creative element, Vachaka, and the creation, that which is to be expressed by it, the Vachya. Vachya is to be expressed, Vachaka is the expressing element. They together represent the power of the goddess called Parapara, supreme, non-supreme, which is the essence of Madhyama Vak. I'm taking all this from Abhinavagupta, yeah? So from his thinking, for you to understand how he thinks. It's amazing how he thinks. It's quite interesting. Parapara, supreme, non-supreme. Supreme means the division is not taking place between the object and the sense, object of sense and sense, and apara, where the division took place. So this is the grammatical level, or this level of language is there where these two are combined, are held together. That's why the text has a meaning and tells us something about the reality. And finally, Vaikhari is the easy part. Vaikhari is a manifestation of speech in time and space with all the distinct features of language, phonemes, words, sentences, according to Abhinavagupta. Vaikhari is only a completion of the process of Paravak, which started with Pashyanti, led through the formulation of the elements in Madhyama and manifested in Vaikhari. It's a manifestation. expression, final physical expression. The Paravak is present throughout the process of manifestation and is always there before and after its manifestation. So it is not really stopping with finishing my text. I will finish my presentation, but Paravak will continue in your mind, in my mind, in our consciousness. It will still, that silence after the music will hold the whole meaningful composition. The word is not only manifested in terms of speech production, but also in terms of the objective reality. So this is the end of my presentation. So I hope it was meaningful. So this is kind of we are scratching the surface of tantric knowledge. Of
It's very, very beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. It's
yeah,
such
it's very deep, and oh, I really like it.
Yeah, thank you. I also like it. It's really the knowledge I always wanted to have. to formulate it in the mental way that it would be something beyond mind is quite difficult. Yeah, that's
but it's the truth. It's the reality.
Yeah. Yeah, expressed in the forms of language, which is quite amazing because it's quite difficult to speak about it. And it's not even symbolic, it's really something closer to psychological reality. Agree. Great. All right, so I will close with mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. See you. Bye.